I see. Do all EBOO therapies include light component?
No, not all EBOO is created equal. What in life is created equal? But we're like the Martin Luther King Jr. version of EBOO. Yeah, we include light in our therapy. And it's light from the UVA, UVB, UVC end of the spectrum, which is invisible. And then our unit also includes the full visible light spectrum. So all the way from the reds, oranges, yellow, greens, blues, and purples. And then also actually a little bit of near infrared light, which is also invisible. It's like this full spectrum. And, I am not a light expert, so I don't even remember what all of the different wavelengths, but it's much more than like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, right? It's actually, I think that wavelength spectrum goes from something like 350, 400 nanometers all the way up to, call it 650-ish. So there's like 300 to 400 nanometers different colors, if you will. It's not 6 or 7 or 8 colors. It's 300, 400 colors. And that's just talking about the visible light. And each wavelength does something different in your body. And it's like all of those are emitted from the sunlight, right? We're humans. We've been developing for a long, long time on this planet, exposed to sunlight. That sunlight is so important for our health in so many ways. And so if we can just take some of that and take a little sunlight and put it in a box and add it into this EBOO therapy, there seems to be this synergy. And there's a lot of overlap of what ozone does from a physiologic manner, as well as the light does. But ultimately, they work synergistically. They work together. They work they seem to actually help minimize negative reactions as well. So people tend to do better, we've noticed, once we flipped on the light switch, because in the beginning we didn't have the light. So it was very interesting. It was only after like a year that we added the light, and it was like, aha. And then we added it in hydrogen tablets, and then we added in bioactive carbon, and then we added a pre-nutrient IV to the EBOO.
So when you said you add the light, is it just the tubing that carries the blood inside runs through the light bulb?
Yeah, so there's great questions. So the blood goes through the tubing, and then there's like this glass quartz section that kind of does this twirly motion inside to really rotate all of the red blood cells. So that it's not just the red blood cells going through, because kind of like in the ocean, right? It's only the top of the water that gets the light. And then you go down deep enough and there's like literally it's pitch black, right? So it's the same with red blood cells, a lot more darker than water, right? So you can imagine that without swirling those red blood cells up, the light would only be absorbed by a certain amount of those. So it's a little special tubing that rotates those red blood cells and mixes them up so it gets really nicely lit up and then goes back into the tubing and then goes back into the body.